Hello, everybody. Josh here, and welcome back to another episode of the Kayfabe Sessions, episode 8 of the Kayfabe Sessions. This is where I talk to some of the most hardworking people in or individuals in professional wrestling. And today I'm joined by a very special guest, someone who has been making waves on the independent scene, someone you need to keep your eye on as of recent because no matter where she goes, she is the absolute center of attention. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Brittnie Brooks. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm so good. That was an awesome introduction. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. No worries at all. Thank you for being here. It means a lot. The eighth episode of the Kayfabe Sessions. So yeah, this has been an ongoing series. I've had like multiple people on, but yeah. So thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for having me. Let's
Yeah, of
go.
course.
Episode 8. Eight's actually my favorite number, so that's
Oh,
perfect.
perfect. There we go. So I'm gonna jump straight into the questions that I have lined up for you. So I don't waste too much of your time. So. Take us back to when you first entered the wrestling business, your very first steps into professional wrestling. What drew you to the independent scene specifically, and how did you get started?
Oh, okay. So obviously, I mean, like, what I was drawn to was WWE. I never really knew that there was an independent wrestling. I didn't know how to become a wrestler. I thought you just like, it's like when people are in Hollywood and in movies, it's like, how do you just become an actor?
Yeah,
That's kind of how I felt about wrestling. Like, how do I become a wrestler? Like, it doesn't seem very possible. I didn't really know about indies. I didn't really know about anything other than WWE when I first started watching. So I loved it as a kid. And then one day I randomly was like, on Instagram, and then this place commented called Arizona Wrestling Federation. They commented on one of my photos because I had like a fan page, and it was like a photo of I think Sasha Banks and Finn Balor, thinking like, oh, they're a great team. I love it because it was during like the mixed match challenge era. And I think they commented, and from there, I was just like, oh my gosh, like this is an independent wrestling show in Arizona. What the heck? And I started looking at it, and then they had kids' classes because at the time I was only 14 or 15 years old. So it's like, oh my gosh, I need to do this. So I begged my mom, like, please, mom, please, let's go. Like, let's go. So then we went. I loved it. It was so surreal to be inside of a ring. I had always watched it and just thought, like, man, like, I dream of being inside the ring. And then first day, they're just like, wipe your feet and get in. And I'm like, well, I get to get in. Like, this is crazy. Like, obviously, I was expecting to learn how to wrestle, but like, it was still a shock to be able to go inside the ring. And then, yeah, from there, I just went to training every single Saturday was when we did kids class. And then eventually the kids class kind of thinned out because a lot of kids were like, not really into wrestling. Like, I feel like you can't do wrestling as a hobby. Like, you can, but it's very demanding on your body, and everything about it is so demanding. So, if you do it, you should want to do it for your life. So, kind of it started thinning out. So, then they put me in the adult class. And then from there, I was training every Monday, Wednesday. And then I got my first match in January 2020.
awesome. 14, 15 is really young. How did that like fly with like you being in school still and the friends that you had in school? What did they think about you joining professional wrestling at such a young age?
Well, I mean, they thought it was crazy, but it was something I always loved. And like every now and then there would be somebody that I would say it to and they thought it was cool. So, but when I really started like wrestling on shows and stuff is when COVID happened. So I didn't really get to invite a lot of friends to come see it or anything. And like I didn't really have a lot of friends at school because the schools were shut down. And I went to like a different high school than most of my people that were in middle school went to. So I kind of was just like, meeting a lot of new people, but no one really got to see wrestling. So then I remember specifically in 2022, 2021, I tore my ACL and I came back in 2022 and, or no, wait, maybe switch 22 and I came back at the end of 2022. My first match back, I invited like 30 people from my school. Like teachers came, the principals came, like everyone came. It was crazy. And I remember everyone thinking I was so cool and they all had my shirts. And it was just so fun to see everyone there because I always wanted people to come watch me wrestle, but it could never happen because of COVID. So now it being over, like I was able to have everyone there. So everyone thought I was so cool. And I was just like, this is so, so fun.
Awesome. Who were like some of your biggest like mentors and trainers that had a big part in your development early on as a wrestler? And what are some of the biggest lessons you learned early on?
So my original coach was Lawrence Tyler, and he is from Arizona Wrestling Federation, and that was kind of like the main person I listen to and everything because like when you're a wrestler, like so many people are giving you so many different pieces of advice and sometimes contradicting each other. But when you become like your own person and is how you take everything from everybody and decide what applies to you because everybody is different and I'm a kid, a girl wrestling, so like sometimes people would give me stuff and I'm like, I don't really know if that works for me. And sometimes it would, sometimes it wouldn't. So getting a lot of his advice really formed me into who I am today. And even now, like at first, like I kind of only had him as my coach, but now I moved to Vegas and I have like so many different people giving so many amazing opinions. And I've had a lot of new mentors lately that have helped me so much. And yeah, just like I think the biggest piece of advice is honestly about taking advice, like making sure that you're listening to what everyone says, but only applying what works for you because again, it's everyone's their own person and what works for one person may not work for the next person.
Yeah, absolutely. So fast forward a few years later, after you first started, you've had some incredible matches with some incredible people like Maggie Lee, Elayna Black, so many people. What is the one match that after that match was over, you felt like you had finally, quote, arrived as a professional wrestler?
Oh, I don't even know if I have yet. I don't know that I've had that match yet because obviously everyone's super hypercritical of of their own selves, and I feel like that's how you're gonna get better. But sometimes I'm just like, shoot, like that match wasn't the greatest. That match should have been better because of this. So I feel like I'm always seeking the perfect match, which is never gonna happen. But I definitely think like after wrestling people like Maggie Lee and Zeta Steele, that was definitely like, oh shit, like this can be so good. And Kylie Ray, like some of my favorite people to wrestle. Even Steph DeLander was really fun to wrestle. And I feel like I learned so much from her. And I really appreciate all of the advice that she always gives me too. But yeah, I feel like I still haven't had like the match yet. And I think yet is a very powerful word and I'm still chasing that like perfect match. But I'm definitely feeling like I'm starting to improve significantly over the past few months too, coming back from this knee injury. Like I have been able to consistently wrestle again, and how you get good is just keep wrestling. So I feel like I'm starting to improve now that I'm getting back into the swing of wrestling every single weekend, multiple matches a weekend. I'm still under 200 matches, which sounds like a lot, but in the grand scheme, like if I was wrestling at the rate that I am now when I first started, I feel like I would be so much better than what I am.
Yeah. Yeah, we're definitely gonna get into your injury a little bit later on, but your character and your persona has developed a lot over the past few years. Talk to me about that and what went into the thought process of the character we see right now.
Oh, so I am the center of attention. I feel like at first, when I became a wrestler, I didn't really know who I was because I was 15, 16 years old. It was really hard to like put my personality out there, and I still struggle with that. But I feel like a biggest thing was like I have always wanted to get signed. That's been my dream. I've always wanted to work for WWE. So like I look at them and I think like they're larger than life personalities. How do I replicate that to who I am? And I mean, I've tried a lot of different things. Like at one point I was nicknamed the Megastar, but then I saw that LA Knight was using that and Logan Paul was using the social media Megastar. So I was like, okay, let's try something else. I've always been chasing some type of nickname, some type of moniker that I could use. And one day I was just listening to Give Me More, my entrance song, and she calls herself the center of attention. So I was like, that's actually really good. And I don't think anyone is using it. At the time, Tiffany Stratton wasn't even using the center of the universe. So, and that, like, I think those are very different things because people do sometimes accidentally call me the center of the universe. And I'm like, no, I'm the center of attention, which is very different.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, it was really original. And I'm still figuring out who that is. I feel like I'm becoming a lot more comfortable in the ring to be able to throw in little beats of character moments because, wrestling is all about the personality. And I feel like for the longest time, I was so hard on myself, like, oh, that move looks bad, or I didn't do this right, or I didn't do that right. It's like, but people are actually drawn and becoming fans of me because of my personality. So I need to showcase that more in wrestling. So I feel like after, being so hard on myself for so long, I realized, hey, like let me just show these people who I am, and the moves can come later. Like, obviously, it's important to be a good wrestler and do moves correctly and, tell a good story when wrestling, but I need to tell that story with my character. So I feel like focusing on that has definitely helped.
Yeah. So you mentioned your personality, and that's exactly what drew me to your page in the first place because the first video I saw of you was the response you had to the interview between Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes. And I
Yeah.
absolutely loved that because you used that for your own good, and that was absolutely fantastic. Was that something that just immediately clicked and like, I'm gonna use this?
So I listen to Cody's podcast a lot because I'm a big fan of Cody Rose, obviously.
Yeah.
And I was listening to like the Ricky Starks one, and Ricky Starks was talking about how he made this video that got him assigned at AEW, and I was like, I feel like my promo game isn't the greatest, so I'm trying to like do more promos and I'm trying to make more content all the time. And then, they did this thing about like, people on the independents not really knowing a lot about him. And I'm like, this is the perfect opportunity to take their words and maybe they don't even see it. But all it takes is one of them quote tweeting it and then me getting a whole new like fan base. And even then, like that video did significantly more numbers than some of my other videos. So I was like, what if I just make like a highlight reel, kind of like a trailer of like who Brittnie Brooks is and throwing that up and putting it with that clip because honestly when people are scrolling they see a clip of Cody and Kevin, they're going to stop and watch it. So it's a good
Yeah.
eye grabber. And I've messed around too with like starting the video with my face and being like, I saw Cody Rose and Kevin Owens talk about this, but then actually my boyfriend Chris Bay, he is great and he helps me all the time with stuff. And he's like, no, like people are going to be drawn to just seeing them talk. So when they see them talking and it turns into a whole video about you, it's gonna reach way more people than you kind of starting it and being like, hey, I saw Cody Rose and Kevin Owens talking about this. Like, just put the clip in. And honestly, yeah, it's like at 50K on Instagram right now. And I think like quite a few thousand on Twitter and even on TikTok, it did well. I think it got like muted because I put a song in it. But yeah, so it reached a new fan base of people. So that's really cool that you found me through that because
Yeah.
that was the whole goal. Like, see, maybe Kevin and Cody don't see the video, but at the end of the day, it's helping me reach people. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So switching the topic just a little bit, talk to me about that ACL injury because that is something that like I watch a ton of sports from basketball, football, obviously professional wrestling, and an ACL injury is one of the worst things that can happen to an athlete. You came back faster than most people come back from an ACL injury. How did you do that?
So this was my second ACL injury. So first one I got in 2022. I was at training and we were just going through stuff. And like if someone puts you up for a body slam, you're gonna like fall behind them and roll them up. Well, I did not realize I fell really heavy onto my right leg. And I felt a pop, but I've never been injured before. Like I did karate and jiu-jitsu as a kid, but no like sports. So I didn't really know what an ACL was. I never even heard of it. But my knee was hurting really bad. It got super swollen. I kind of took like 3 weeks off from training. Like I would go train and just kind of sit down. Like I would do some rolls, but nothing crazy. Because at the time I was only wrestling for Arizona Wrestling Federation. So they had shows once a month. So, I was getting ready for my March show. And, that happens. My knee hurts really bad. It's swollen. I'm like, okay, something's not right. I go to do the match. It like gives out instantly. Like I can't even put weight on it. It hurts so bad because I've even had to try to run or anything since it hurt. So that happened in like March. I got surgery in like May or June, I want to say. And I came back in like December. And that was like the first one. No, maybe I got surgery in April. I don't remember. But so that was the first one. And then like my biggest thing when I came back from that injury was like I want to wrestle more places. Like I'm only wrestling once a month. I'm not getting better. I'm only wrestling the same people over and over again. So then I started taking a ton of bookings, and that was like when I came back in 2022. So 2023 until I got injured again in 2024 with the other leg. So flash forward, I'm wrestling Kylie Ray. So excited for the match. It was just a whole mess. My luggage got stolen at the airport. I was literally so late to the show. I think I had like 20 minutes to get ready before my match started.
Oh
So I
wow.
was like doing my makeup, my hair, trying to get in the zone. I was eating food. Like I was just trying to get ready. we rushed. I didn't get to stretch out. So like I kind of went out there. It was an outdoor show. The ropes were a little loose. I didn't get to test the ring before because I always like to test the ring to see like, are these ropes super loose? Like, can I jump off them? Because sometimes they're really loose, sometimes they're really tight, and sometimes they're really high up. So I can't do my slingshot elbow. So I didn't really get to test the ring. I tore my ACL jumping off the top rope. I think it was the push off. Like I always thought it was the land, but now like I'm like no, like because if I push off these loose ropes, I think that's when my knee blew actually. So, I was out I tore my knee June 8th, 2024. I came to get surgery on August 8th, 2024, and then I came back December 8th, 2024. So 4 months after. And honestly, I don't know that I was fully ready to come back. A lot of people take 9 to 12 months for ACL surgeries. And I don't think my knee was fully healed, but I was so determined to do whatever it took to get back. Like I was training, I was going to physical therapy for like 2 hours, and then I was doing physical therapy for 2 hours on my own. I was trying so many different things like balance exercises, jumping exercises, when I really wasn't even ready to start jumping yet. Like they say 10 weeks was when it's most common for it to re-tear. So at 10 weeks, I was definitely doing stuff that could have easily re-torn it. But the knee braces really helped. And honestly, like I was really hard on myself because around I want to say like 3 month mark is when Chris got injured. So he was in Detroit, and I was flying, back and forth from Arizona to Detroit. I was spending weeks at a time with him in the hospital. So I was literally like not showing up to my PT, and I thought they were going to get mad at me. But I ended up having to just like stop going because, I missed so much. But I was doing everything I could every single day on my own. I was researching like stuff to drink, like chicken broth, and I was like trying to figure out any way to get healed. And then when I did come back in that Rumble, I realized maybe, I'm definitely not ready to wrestle yet. So I didn't take any matches until the end of January, which put me closer to the 6 month part. So which like is more reasonable to come back because 4 months is completely unreasonable. 6 months is a little bit more reasonable. But even then, like honestly, I didn't feel good on my knees until like maybe a few months ago. And that was like a lot of in-ring training, a lot of training at the gym, plyometric training, taking shows, doing everything I can to just be on my knees as much as possible and get used to using them again, mostly.
I think it's that stubbornness that every athlete has because I went through that exact same thing too. Like literally a couple months ago, I sprained my ankle playing basketball, and I still ended up walking home right after because I'm like, no,
It's
I'm
crazy.
fine. I'm completely fine. I think it's a thing with every athlete. They're like, no, like I'm gonna be back by this time. I don't care what the doctor says. Every athlete has it.
Absolutely. And my thought was like, okay, John Cena tore his pec. He was back 4 months after his surgery. He came out number 30 in a Rumble, and like Dreamwave doing their first ever women's Rumble. And I'm their first ever women's champion. I had to give it up because of this injury. I'm going to come back at number 30. That's what I want to do. Like, I want to come back at number 30, 4 months post surgery. In my, like, as one of John Cena's biggest fans in the world, he's literally the inspiration for me to become a wrestler. So like I needed to like do that just for myself. And granted, I came in and I was super lucky. Everyone was fighting each other. I just started dumping people and I won. It was great. I was in there for like a minute, but it was still like seriously the most stressful the most stressed out I've ever been before a match in my life, which is insane. Because Jordan Grace was also in the Rumble. So it was just
Oh
crazy.
wow.
Like, I was like, how am I number 30? Like, Jordan Grace should be number 30. She's the other surprise. But yeah, it was crazy.
So talk to me about that Dreamwave Women's Championship. How much of a toll does that take having to vacate that title?
Oh, it was rough. It was really sad. So like Dreamweaver was the first real promotion to like take a chance on me because I mean putting Zeta and I in the match for the first ever women's championship, I will be forever grateful for because we were two girls at that time like I guess I can only speak for myself, but at the time we weren't really getting flown out places or getting opportunities to wrestle people that were like really good and you know what I mean? Like being put in that position two girls under 20 years old. I think I was 18 at the time. She might have been 18 or 19. And getting the chance to main event a Dreamwave show for the first ever women's championship when like the qualifying matches were six ways with like people like Shaza McKenzie and Becca and Maki Ito, like such great women. And the fact that we're being trusted to have the main event, and it was just such a surreal moment to win. But then being forced to vacate it was just like the worst because I knew like nothing would ever be the same again. Like there can never be a first ever women's champion. And of course, my biggest stop in the world, Maggie Lee, had to win it and had to go on her reign of terror, which has gone on far too long. But yeah, it really sucked not only to vacate it, but to then get kicked by Maggie Lee when trying to vacate it, who thought I was faking an injury. And then for her to win it later that night was really, really bitter. But I mean, she's a great wrestler, horrible person. So
Yeah,
that's all
I
I gotta
mean,
say.
yeah, and now she's doing the exact same thing on TNA television. So,
I mean, she's killing it, but she's a bitch. So,
so I'm from Canada. Live in Ontario, and a promotion that I'm very close with at the moment is Destiny World Wrestling, a place that you have wrestled before. What can you tell me about your experience wrestling in Ontario?
oh, it was so much fun. I would absolutely love to come back. Like, I haven't been to Canada since that Destiny show, February, I want to say 2024, before my knee injury. It was really fun, and I'd love to come back. And I think Destiny is so great because they book all varieties of people. So it's like you're able to wrestle someone who's very, very good, that's a vet, or you're able to wrestle someone who's like newer, that's like hot right now. Like, they're really good about booking all different types of people, which is like, one of my big things right now is sometimes these indies, they just book, big name versus big name. And it's like, who does that help? Like, yeah, that's great that like those two are getting to wrestle and have a great match. But it's hard being someone trying to break through on the independents and not getting to wrestle like a big name. So being able to wrestle at Destiny, they book a good variety of people. And Canada in general is just so much fun. The fans were incredible, and I'd love to come back soon.
Awesome. Yeah, you're more than welcome to. I'm pretty sure. I would love to see you back in the Destiny Wrestling ring because I don't believe I was around for Destiny Wrestling that much around then, so I definitely love to see you back. I want to backtrack a little bit to your like promo and character stuff because as I was doing my research last night for this interview, I came across a promo you did for AWF when you were facing Elayna Black. And you said some pretty hard-hitting things in that promo towards Elayna Black. Did she see that promo and what did she have to say about it?
Oh, she did. She said, I think she quote tweeted, she said, "Girl, shut up." But I mean, at the end of the day, were there any lies told? I don't think so. Someone had to say it. If I wasn't going to say it, who was going to say it? And honestly, I may have lost the match, but she took the title and then retired from wrestling. So that's her own little issue. And now Priscilla Kelly is the AWF Women's Champion. So something in me tells me that I may need to come back to AWF soon to reclaim my belt because, I mean, Elayna decided to run away with it. I don't know.
Yeah. So wrestling is obviously a very demanding sport, like we talked about earlier. What keeps you balanced outside of the ring?
Goodness. I mean, coming home to my beautiful kitten Ruby, who I just recently got. Me and Chris got her like a few months ago, and she's my whole little world. She's right here next to me right now. But I mean, just like, oh, I get to go home and I get to see Ruby and to see Chris, like, because I mean, we used to do long distance, so now I moved in whenever he came back from the hospital. So like being able to like come home to like a little family is just the best feeling. But also too, like every single time I'm wrestling, every single time I have a match, I'm like, okay, let's do better in the next one. So like I said, I'm really hard on myself about my performances a lot of the time. So being able to get home and get back to training and get back into working, like, oh, maybe like, my body didn't look that good in those photos, so let me go harder at the gym. Or like, oh, like I didn't do this right in the match. Let me go to the school and train and work on that specific thing with all different types of people. So that definitely helps me like, stay grounded. But I will say I definitely need to take care of my body a little bit more. Like I need to do more massages or chiropractors or something because I am hurting like every day. Like today we were doing chest and shoulders and I was like, dang, my shoulder hurts so bad and I have to go wrestle tomorrow. Like, what am I gonna do? But yeah, that's definitely like recovery is important. And I'll definitely say I don't do it well enough. So it's something I need to work on.
Yeah. So going back to a little something a little bit more serious about Chris's injury, how was that dealing with that? Because that was a very scary injury, that like shook the entire professional wrestling world. How did you manage that?
It was insane. So I guess the best way to describe is to take you back like to the day it happened. So it was October 27th. The 26th was Bound for Glory when he was wrestling the Hardys and the System in the Full Metal Mayhem match. I was doing commentary in Minnesota because at the time I was still injured. This was my first flight since being injured, and it was like really scary to me and just being, away. I was gone like all day that day before. I did like I went to go watch the Noah tryout for Japan, and that was really cool to see. And then I was doing commentary all night. We got in the car after the show. I checked my phone. I saw clips of Chris getting speared off from the belt. I was like, "What is he doing?" I was like, "Oh my gosh, are you okay?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine." Um, so then flash forward the 27th, I fly back home to Arizona. I'm out to dinner with my parents at Olive Garden, and one of my best friends texts me, "Hey, um, I don't know if this is just like a storyline thing, but I think Chris is hurt. Like they're stretchering him out right now." And I'm like, "What the hell? Like Chris has never gotten hurt. Like, and even like, to get stretchered out is a big injury." So I'm like, no, it's got to be like something. So I'm texting him. I'm texting him. People start blowing up my phone. And I'm like, I don't even know what's going on. My friend tries to FaceTime me because she was also on the show. And she was like, yeah, like something's not right. And then she like is messaging because I like just got my food at Olive Garden and I'm like, I'm sick to my stomach. I can't eat. Like it was the worst feeling in the world. I didn't know what was going on. People were asking me what was going on because it was taping, so it wasn't live. So at least it wasn't on TV, so I couldn't watch it. I didn't know what was going on. And then like she was like, "Oh my gosh, like I think he broke his neck." Everyone's saying he's broke his neck, and I'm like, "What the fuck? Like a broken neck? Like that's crazy." And so I'm starting to panic. We get our food. I like box up the food. I'm like, I need to go home. Like I don't know what's going on. I know he's in Detroit, so that's like, across the country. So I need to figure out how to get there, like, or what's gonna happen. And the craziest thing was when I was in Minnesota, I was gonna rebook my flight to go to Detroit because like I really wanted to see Chris and we were gonna come back to Vegas together and hang out for Halloween because at the time I lived in Arizona, he lived in Vegas. So it was just like we were like, okay, perfect. And I was like, oh, should I change my flight from Minnesota? Like, should I just go to Detroit and go hang out with him? And like something in me told me I should go, but then I was like, nah, like it'll be like an extra $200. Like, let me just spend that money on like our Halloween activities. Like it'll be more fun if I just save that money and use it there. So I decided not to. And man, do I wish I would have just went. Oh my goodness. So I start finding out more. I get home. I start like I'm bawling my eyes out. I'm like trying to pack my stuff up. I'm like, I'm going to Detroit. Like no one's gonna stop me. I don't care how much money I have to pay for a flight. Like I'll fly on Spirit. I hate Spirit Airlines. I'll fly on Spirit, like whatever it takes, I'll get there. And then he FaceTimes me in the ambulance with like tears rolling down his eye and a neck brace. And I'm like, what happened? And he's like, I'm fine. How are your knees? And I'm like, don't ask me how my knees are, okay? What's going on? He's like, I think I broke my neck, but I'm gonna be okay. And I'm like, okay, like, and he was like, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna be able to take you to the pumpkin patch. I'm like, listen, I don't care about the pumpkin patch. I care about your neck. So I'm panicking. And like Tommy Dreamer is texting me, like, hey, he's gonna be okay. Like, they're just gonna check to see if his neck is broken. I think he's trying to like calm me down because I'm terrified.
Yeah.
And so he's telling me all this and all that. Like, we're gonna work on a flight. So TNA decided to fly me out, which I'm forever grateful for because those flights were ridiculously expensive for the next day. Because it was like a 1 day notice, but also it was like across the country. So I'm like boarding the plane in the morning. I like got his mom's phone number. I have Ace like messaging me like, "Hey, he made it out of surgery. He's gonna be okay." And then I'm messaging his mom, and his mom goes, yeah, but he still can't move his legs. And I'm like, what? Like, ne I never knew, I didn't know anything about broken necks. I didn't know anything about like paralysis. But since he broke his neck was broken in a way that damaged his spinal cord significantly. And spinal cord is all the fine motor skills. So, like, in order to, control your bowels or to like move your legs or anything, it all is from the spinal cord. And I didn't know anything about this. I thought he just broke his neck. Like, I'm like, okay, like, so many people have broken their neck in wrestling. Like, yeah, it's a rare thing, but it's also like more common in wrestling. But he damaged his spinal cord, which makes it a million times worse. So I'm panicking. I'm freaking out. Like, I didn't know, and I couldn't even sleep on the flight there. We get there, Ace picks me up, we go to the hospital, and Chris is just like, it's just such a crazy thing to see him in a hospital bed. Like, it was terrifying. And then, like, every 2 hours, they would come in and be like, hey, wiggle your toes. And he's like, I can't do that. And it was just the most like heartbreaking thing. And just people reaching out to me, which I mean, the love and support was unreal. I mean, like, seriously, hearing all the love and people, like, I could never thank people enough for how much they were helping. But people were also trying to like reach out and get the scoop. And we didn't want a lot of people knowing because we don't know if he's going to be able to walk again. We don't know what's going on. And for a while, it really did feel like he would never be able to walk again. Like it was 2.5 months, I want to say, from when he got injured to when he was first able to move his leg again. And it was just so crazy. And it was just so much harder on me not being there for him when I knew he needed me. But at the time, like the hotels are really expensive. And like luckily, like TNA helped out a lot when it first happened. And they were like, stay as long as you need. So I stayed for like a week and a half, I think. Then I had to come back because I had a signing and I didn't want to cancel the signing because I needed money. So it was like a whole thing. And then I flew from the signing back to Detroit. So I was spending like a lot of time in Detroit and like trying to like when I did come home, work, go to the gym, go to my job, and also rehab my knee because I still had this unrealistic goal of returning in December. And at this point, it was November. And I was like, how am I going to return next month? Like, this is unrealistic. So yeah, it was really, really hard. But then he was still in a wheelchair when we came back to Vegas. So like my thought, they were talking about it. They were like, yeah, he needs someone to fly with him. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna live with him. Like I've wanted to live with him since we started dating. Long distance is really hard. So on Christmas Eve, I moved in to his apartment in Vegas. I moved all my stuff up. He lived on the second floor with no elevator, and it took me like 15 trips, but I did it. It was crazy, but I moved all my stuff into his apartment. And then I flew out on Christmas Day to be with him on Christmas. And then we stayed a few days. He checked out of the rehab facility and we got him back. So he was still in the wheelchair, which was really difficult because, again, second floor. So every single day he had to scoot himself up the stairs. And it was just unreal seeing someone who was like my superhero. Like he was the strongest person in the world, seeing him so like vulnerable. And I know that that affected him really deeply. And to just see him so upset, I just wanted to help. I just wanted to take his pain away. So it's safe to say now we are in such a better place now that he can move his legs. I mean, like his story is unreal, and I'm so glad that he's okay. And obviously, there's still stuff that I see every day where it's like, fuck, like that shit still messes with him because, it was such a big thing. Like he's still regaining his balance and he's still regaining his ability to do certain things. Or like for my birthday, I was like, oh, I want to go to Disneyland, but then I was like, no, like we can't go because the roller coasters would really mess him up, and I don't want to put him in that position. Or like he can't sit for a long time, or just like little things that you wouldn't think about. But like those first few days in the hospital were the biggest like life opening thing. Like life's short, and we have to treat it as so. And it was just the biggest like life-changing thing to happen in my life, even though it didn't directly happen to me. So yeah, that was a really long answer. I'm sorry.
No, no worries at all. That was an amazing answer, and that's an amazing story. Um, but I want to thank you for joining me here today. Thank you for taking time out of your day. I was going to say evening, but I think it's still afternoon for you. Um,
Yeah.
taking time out of your afternoon to do this interview, it definitely means a lot. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I had so much fun.
Of course, of course. Make sure everybody goes ahead and if you're not already, go ahead and follow Brittnie Brooks on all social medias. Go check out all of her shows if you're in the area of wherever she's wrestling. Fantastic wrestler, fantastic persona. So go ahead and check all her stuff out. Yeah, that's gonna do it for this episode of the Kayfabe Sessions. Thank you for everybody who's tuning in, or who tuned in, whether you're on YouTube, Spotify, or Ko-Fi, whatever the case may be. Thank you. Drop your comments down in the section below. And I will see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.
Bye.